welcome to the channel. Metal Marty Mark back with another video. This time, guys, very special video. This is a video to support our good friend, my good mate, my best mate on the VC, Johnny Mac. He's hit 500 subs. He's actually surpassed the 500 subs. He's well over that now. But thoroughly well deserved, Johnny Mac. Love your brother. You're a great guy. Great channel. If anybody doesn't know John now at this stage, I'll be very surprised. But he's just a great dude, man. He's very similar taste to me. He listens to a bit of more got rock and old kind of what would you call it, gothic stuff like the Alarms, Sisters Mercy. Not my cup of tea really. But everything else I love what John listens to, and I love his videos, and I just love his channel, and I love him, his personality, and I'm really looking forward to meeting him in January over with the rest of the guys over in Scotland for the festival. That's going to be a cracker, man. And it's going to be fucking awesome, man. I can't wait. But yeah, congratulations, Johnny Mac. You're a fucking star. John wants us to show 5 albums that got us into different sort of genres of music as we were growing up, or that, you know, different styles of music. You can show all the one genre if you want, but I decided to do what a lot of the other guys are showing. They're showing stuff that they were sort of brought up on and made them develop into what they listen to today. So and then he wants to give us a couple of shout outs. I've got them written down here because they're all people, well, most of them are all ones we know, but I just want to write stuff down because head like a sieve and all that. So yeah, so just before I get started, just want to show you this t-shirt. So a good friend of ours at work, Jared, he designed this t-shirt in the place where he works, centre where he works, and it's kind of a Krusty the Clown, well, I think it's Krusty the Clown kind of ring or anything like that. You did a great job on it, Jared. I just want to say well done, mate. Hopefully you've made some more, and very glad to get it this week from the boss. So yeah, cool stuff. Well done, mate. Good stuff. Anyway, back to Johnny Mac. Okay, so Johnny Mac wants us to show 5 albums that got us into different genres of metals. So for me, I've always listened to metal. I had a brother 6 years older than me. Well, he was nearly 6 years older than me. So when I was a teen starting to listen to metal, he was always 6 years older. So he was the breadwinner. He was, well, not the breadwinner, but he was in a position to buy records and music and all that sort of stuff. So I sort of depended on him for stuff like to listen to. He got me into it. I was never going to listen to anything else because that's all we ever listened to in our house was metal. So yeah. So anyway, I showed this in a previous video, this album. Now I bought this. This was the first album I ever actually bought myself. Bought it on a summer trip down to my sisters. I have 2 sisters live in Northern Ireland. And there was a Wellworth store down there. Now, not Woolworths, it was Wellworths. And they had a massive music collection. And I used to love rooting through it. Didn't know what stuff was. I ended up buying the Bread tape one time because I thought it was the TV program of Bread. But yeah, this is where I started. So I bought a tape. And this is not the original tape that I bought. Obviously, they don't have it at this stage because, why are we talking? We're talking 40 years ago or more. But anyway, so the album in question, this was the first. I was listening to lots of metal like rock and other like Priest and Rainbow and White Snake. I remember my brother getting all the records. His birthday was Christmas Day, so he got loads of records. And I remember seeing all the covers and being fascinated and all that. But this was the first album I actually ever bought with my own money. And I don't know where I got the money, but I bought the album. But I bought Deep Purple in Rock. Now I know I have shown it. This is a reissue of it. But for me, I remember listening to Smoke on the Water and everything. But then when I listened to this album, this was just so outrageous. Like Into the Fire, Living Wreck, Hard Loving Man, Bloodsucker. Of course, Chilling Times on this as well. But what an amazing album. And this sort of made a big impression on me when I was that age. Because I just thought it was so raw. Little do you know, like when you're hearing stuff for the first time at that age, you assume like that's the craziest thing that's out there. Obviously, it wasn't at the time for me. This came out in '70, but I would have heard this around 1982, 83. I would say I was around 10. But yeah, that album was for me is just massive, and it still is today. It just sounds so amazing. I think it's a fantastic record. Yeah, so Deep Purple in Rock, still one of my all-time favourite albums. But that was the first album I bought that got me really into heavy metal. I was listening to heavy metal, but you know, when you buy your own record and you have your own thing in your hand, I played that the whole summer long. It was so good. It was just great. Also, then, as I said, my brother was listening to loads of different styles of metal, and another band. I remember him having this on cassette, and fascinated when I heard this first. Sort of got me. This is what got me into sort of prog rock. Yeah, prog rock we'll call it. I know this isn't one of their proggier albums, but they had that prog element in all their stuff, no matter how many kind of style changes they changed over the years. So the band in question was Rush, Grace Under Pressure, totally fascinated with this album when I heard it, and I still think it's an amazing album. It's my favorite Rush album. Like the whole kind of spacey, kind of sci-fi vibe to it, with the keyboards, the snarely warning, After Image, Red Barchetta, Body Electric, Kid Gloves. Fantastic album. And it just made me realise that there was more to it than just your basic 3-minute radio songs, that you had stuff going on everywhere, and made me appreciate musicians more, with the likes of Neil Peart and Geddy and fucking, I can't remember the other guy's name, but it'll come to me in a second. But yeah, so this it just kind of opened my eyes to, Jesus, there's more to music and all that. So that was a massive album for me. Still is, still my favourite Rush albums. You'll notice some of these albums are my favourite albums by these bands, because for the nostalgia reason, whatever, they're the first albums you've heard and the impact was there. So, moving along, changing the style a bit, from 1986 then, the first trash album. Some people say that's not even trash, but it is trash. It was trash. It's one of the big four. Big massive fan of Friday Night Rock Show. I used to love recording it every Friday night on cassette, and you're always trying to, you know what we used to do, try to miss the DJ, miss Tommy Vance, and get the songs. So you were hearing new stuff every week. I mean, there was a very limited amount of music available in the area I listened to in Ireland. We weren't in Dublin. We were 2.5 hours from Dublin, so you weren't getting a lot of music, so you had to depend on radio station, and hopefully somebody picked something up, and then if somebody picked something up, everybody in the whole area listened to it. But we had a friend, we still do, Eamon, he worked in Sound Cellar. Somebody probably knows Sound Cellar in Dublin, famous record store, Tommy Ty's Sound Cellar. So Eamon worked in that shop when he was at college. He worked at the weekends and worked in the evening or whatever. He worked in any, but he used to bring back tons of stuff to Cavan. So we have to Eamon to thank for a lot of stuff. He introduced us to so many bands that we probably wouldn't have heard of. And as the 80s went on, 85, 86, and then there was a massive influx of music between that and 1990 when the old death metal scene started. But anyway, back to the album. This got me into trashy music. This is the first album I heard. I would have heard a couple of songs of this on the rock show, like Battery and Master of Puppets. Remember having them in dub copies on blank tapes and stuff like that. But yeah, massive album for me. Still is, once again, my favourite Metallic album. I love it. This is an old version on a phonogram Vertigo. I think this is one of our own versions from the late 80s. It's not in the first pressing or anything like that, but it is, it's one of the old school original ones, and it's well bet, but this was a massive album for me. You know, when you're hearing trashy riffs for the first time, it blows you away. So that was massive. So moving on then, another album that we would have been introduced to was prog metal. Oh sorry, just before we do, in the background we were listening to Mekong Delta. Now this is technical progressive thrash metal. I remember being in Dublin with my brother and a few of our mates in 1988. I would have been 15, and this was release day, and we bought this record. Well, my brother bought the record, he had the money. Do have a CD copy of it, and I have a reissue of it as well. But that album, once again, they put the whole progressive style. It was massive for me. It was so different from anything else we ever heard. So it was a huge album, and I absolutely love it. And to this day, I take it, it's a fucking cracker. Brilliant band. Yeah, Mekong Delta, absolutely fantastic album. Love it to bits. So as I was saying, prog metal. Eamon sprung this on us, second Dream Theater album, and that got me hooked. Wow, amazing. Like, it was something we never heard. This is the original CD from back in the day. But yes, 1992, this was huge. So that was my introduction to prog metal, and that was a fantastic album. Still my favourite one once again. Anyway, I jumped a wee bit ahead. I missed 1988, my introduction to death metal. Once again, this was the first death metal album I heard complete. And I would have heard bits and pieces of other stuff, but this, we would have heard Rain and Blood, and then we would have heard this, man, and then, Jesus, fell in love with it. Once again, favourite death album, but this was my introduction to death metal, and for me, it's the best old school death metal. This and Cause of Death are my two favourite death metal albums. Probably always will be. I like the new stuff, but that is massive for me. So, yeah, hope that was alright, Johnny. That was my 5 introductions to heavy metal, prog rock, prog metal, thrash metal, and death metal. So there you go. Hope that's okay. Right now, quickly, the shout outs. That went on a bit longer than I thought it was going to, but it's good to talk. Okay, shout outs. Now, there's so many people in the VC. The VC is, as I said, previous stuff, is the fucking place to be, man. There's so many nice people. So these albums got me into genres. Now I'm going to shout out a few people who got me into YouTube. Like these are amazing guys. They have amazing channels. Everybody probably knows them, but I think because of the size of their channels and all that, people don't mention them anymore. And I know they're still there and they've got good subs and all that, but still, these guys are the fucking forefathers as far as I'm concerned, YouTube wise. So he said 5, so I've kind of cheated a bit. I've got 5, but I've got 4 people in the one. So I'm going to shout out to the Contract in Blood guys, Andy, Cloudy Milder. I remember being on about 76 subs, thinking how the fuck am I going to get to 100, going nowhere. Andy, legend that he is, shared my channel on his, shouted me out, and straight away over the hundreds, and then it went from there, it snowballed. So Andy, Cloudy Milder, sure you all know his channel. If you don't, you mustn't be on the VC. Marty with a C, absolute fucking legend. Mr. Gruesome himself, what a fucking star that guy is. He's been so supportive of my channel. Love Mark, love his channel. Metal Mickey, of course, everybody knows Mickey. Fucking gentleman, absolute gentleman. These 4 guys have just been so amazing for my channel. And Scott the Rock Scout from Bonnie, Scotland. Looking forward to see Scott hopefully in January as well. Those 4 guys have been the reason behind me. They're the first guys I watched. They're the reason I bothered continuing watching their stuff. Cost me a few quid. Okay, for the next shout out, number 2, which is really 5, but another guy who's cost me fucking nothing but money, but for a good reason. Liam, Death Doom Metalhead, Consecration, fucking absolute legend, man. Absolute legend. He's a star. There's nothing else you can say. Liam put some great music up, great videos. Recommendations from Liam for the past 2 years have been spot on. And then in Norway, Roger Kjovik, fucking his fucking videos, man. He was so hard writing all the shit down, but it's great. He put me onto so many brilliant bands, and I really appreciate that. And his support, continued support. He's a great fucking guy. Okay, 2 more to go. 2 people, 2 fellow islanders. 2 people from my island. My island. It's my island. So first up, my favorite channel on YouTube, man, at the moment. Black Leather Eyes, Jason. What a channel, man. He shows some amazing stuff. Just his latest video there is just full of Doom stuff, and he's such a fucking nice guy, and he's got an amazing collection. So yeah, Jason, Black Leather Eyes, dude, you're doing it right on you. So anybody that doesn't know him or any of these channels, I'm going to leave the links. And last but not least, very new, a new young lady from Ireland as well, and her name is Lauren. I've seen a few people mention her channel out. She's only doing this on the metal side a few weeks or maybe a month or so, but you can see her enthusiasm, and her love for metal. She's doing some great videos, and yeah, really like Lauren's channel, and best of luck to Lauren with her channel. It's great stuff. So her channel is Dead Flesh. Now it's spelt rather weirdly, but I'll put it in the comments. But Lauren Michelle, I don't know what part of Ireland she's from, don't recognise the accent. She could be a dub, I'm not sure, but she's doing a great job for someone that's just starting out, so all the best to her. That's it, guys. That's my 5 shout outs, my 5 albums. Once again, Johnny Mac, congratulations, mate. You'll be hitting the 600 very soon. And yeah, congratulations once again. Cheers everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for subscribing. Got a few new subscribers this week as well. So I am over the 600, and hopefully it's going to stay there so I can do my competition. Johnny Mac has this competition out, so I'll give it a week or 2 before I do mine. I'll throw that one out then. But yeah, cheers. Sorry about keeping this video for so long, but cheers. Thanks a lot. Talk to you all soon. All the best. Bye.